How's it going? So this is the next video. This video is probably going to be the most important for those who's watching and thinking of getting married with a person who's a different culture. How do you deal with different food preferences or habits?
If you know Pakistani, food is very spicy, very spicy, and in Egypt, like, we don't like eat that spicy food. Like, it's for them in the family, everything is so super spicy for me that it's actually hurt me. When we were in Pakistan, I used to have a pain in my stomach every day at the end of the day just because of spicy food. Now I'm trying to adopt on it, and honestly his family not trying to add a lot of spice in the food just because of me. So I think they are trying to adopt themselves on me, not me trying to adopt with them. Sometimes like very oily and very fat, so that's something also is kind of different for me. Is the same thing for you?
Her culture have a lot less spices in it, and for me it was okay. I liked it still, a different concept. But what's more interesting for me is in her culture they don't bring with a big plate that has a lot of rice in it. They will bring with smaller plates with rice, and each side will have their own rices, and then everyone will just put a spoon in the same plate and eat it, and then put a back spoon in it and eat it, which is kind of weird to me. We don't do that. We have a specific plate, everything is in it. One person will go put the food in his plate and just go sit down, but here they eat food from each other's plate technically.
What he meant, like for rice specifically, like when we are in a family, what we used to do is that we're not gonna put like a big plate, have all the rice, and we just putting in, just like everyone is gonna get their plate and that's it. But if we have like a family gathering, or like there's like we are inviting people to our house, we'll not do this. We just also have like a big plate with a lot of rice, a lot of things, and people will also take, like just some in their plate. Yeah, in Pakistan it's strict. Like even if it's a small family, even just me and him, we need to do this. Our culture is kind of different.
Thing I noticed that you guys eat fries in the morning.
Fries with tamaya with beans and all of that. We like this. Okay, so the next question is interesting. Have you had to adjust how you eat because of your culture?
Everything that I was eating, in a sense, it was not too healthy. So when she came, I was like, okay, I'm able to ask her to do things that's more healthier. So I asked her to make healthy food, and that's probably one of the change, but not necessarily to do with culture differences.
Yeah.
She do make foods, and that's okay with me. I'm okay with all of those for the most part.
I think
I'm not a fan of vegetables, but that's okay. What about you?
I don't do much here. Like, I just need to learn more Pakistani food so I can even help his mom can cook food for them. That's all I need to do, but I don't really need to adapt because also their family, they are open to learn about my culture food and they want to taste it.
Okay, so next question is, do your daily routines or ways of spending time ever clash?
Okay, so it's not really my daily routine, just like daily habits, like drinking coffee every day a lot. I cannot do this because his mom and his dad, they were watching me and they don't like this because it's not like a good for my health. So I don't want to annoying them, and also he don't like this. Is something I need to make it less. And also how I am eating, because I have a habit to eat very less but to eat a lot of sugar, and that's something also like his family don't like because they maybe think that I don't like their food or anything, but I actually eat very less just to make a space to myself to eat a lot of sweets. That's it. And what about you?
There's not much of a difference in terms of daily routine. Actually, we were thinking of fixing a daily routine. We actually worked on an app, not creating an app, but worked on an app, a scheduling app, and we schedule our full day from top to bottom. But that schedule is not really working because I'm working night shift, she's in the morning. But for now, for scheduling, yeah, there's not much clash. When I come, I go to sleep, she's working on her things. When she's sleeping, I'm working, things like that, which is very normal. How do you keep your own culture while learning about my practices within the culture?
Honestly, not doing much here because, as I mentioned in the beginning, like we have a similar culture. Like his culture is not very different from me. So what I'm doing is that I'm trying to just respect my culture. If I have a habit, for example, like Eid. In Eid, we have like a few habits to do, is to do some cookies and all of that. These are something that's very small, but I'm trying to respect them and also bring them to his culture. So it's gonna be something enjoyable for them. They can experience a new thing, and that's it. But I'm not trying to force my culture or anything. I'm just trying to bring it in a funny way.
Which is pretty good, because New Year's we don't do anything. Marginal culture, they actually celebrate, they eat good food, they have sweets and things like that. This New Year's we actually ate good food. We invited our family members. We all had a good gathering, which is a very positive.
Also, his culture has such a good thing that they celebrate everything happening. So for example, like the first meal that I have made for them, they celebrated for me, and it was actually something interesting for me, but they actually celebrated and they give me gifts for that.
Question is, has your relationship changed how you see your culture?
No, it hasn't.
It hasn't been changed at all?
No, like same thing.
For me, I think a little bit. Why? Because there's two culture, right? So because I'm living in one culture all my life, so I think everything my culture is doing is perfect, right? Because I haven't seen the other side of the scenario. But when I come to their culture, I also see what they are doing, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is a way to do things. I don't know if it's right and wrong. Most likely it's wrong because I see things happening this way, right? So then we gotta discuss, okay, on which lens should we see the both culture? The lens is religion, and we will see both culture through that lens. If my culture is doing something that's outside of religion, we'll stop that right away. If she's doing something that's in her culture but outside of that lens of Islam, we'll stop that. A lot of things that Pakistani culture do in terms of wedding that's against Islam, almost not allowed in Islam, but we do it because it's coming from an Indian culture and everyone do it. So you would be not normal if you don't do it.
What is that? Like, I don't know.
Like there's a concept of mehndi and
Mehndi?
mayo. Yeah, it's just the people put things on your face and stuff, which
It's
is
interesting.
Indian.
I don't know about that.
Alright, so the last question, which is my favorite, is what advice would you give to others in relationship with people from different culture?
From my perspective, like if anyone is going to marry anyone from a different culture, just keep in your mind, guys, like to take your time to think about it and don't be in a rush, and don't make your excitement make you blind, because marrying to a different culture is such a huge thing. So when we are getting into this step, like all in our mind is that we are going to do something different from what we used to do, and I want to experience this thing, I want to travel in a different countries. So just like focus on the idea itself that you are going to marry someone who is different from you, and take your time, don't be in a rush. Our case just took 3 months, but that's not something I recommend, especially for girls. Take your time, think about it, don't be in a rush, because it's a very risky thing. It could be someone who is not actually good as you expected. And something also that you need to keep in your mind is to listen to what your parent is saying. Your parent will be against the idea from the beginning, which is okay and something you need to be expected, but just try to bring them to know the other person. After knowing the other person, please listen carefully about their judgment and their opinion about the other person. Just understand why they are saying that, because sometimes they're gonna say something you don't see and they have more experience than you. Just try to be open, understand them, especially your dad, because he's a man and he understands the man train more than you and he know better than you. What about you?
I feel like I a little bit disagree with your opinion that don't be in a rush either. What I would say, let the things go in a natural way, which means that because for us Islam was a main sector, our thought was like, as long as we are doing everything Islamically correct in getting to the stage of getting married, we shouldn't be worried of how long it's taking. Okay, it could take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, a year. It's fine. We will do that depending on what situations we're in. If that's the case, you're doing everything correct. 1 month, you get married. You would know that you did the right decision because you followed the right steps that needed to be followed.
I'm just saying that for girls, I know how girls thinking. So if I'm going to marry someone in a different culture and I see him as a perfect man, I'm gonna be in a rush because I would just want to get into this experience. So what I'm saying is just try to take this idea of your mind that you're excited and just try to think in a make sense way. Just see how things actually looks like. That's it.
I'll give you the other idea of how you can see the world. What will happen is when you marry with the culture different person, everything that you know is gonna be cushioned in a way that other person don't know it, one, or they're doing it differently, which means that all the things that you have built and thought about you is going to be cushioned, right? Because the other person don't know that, and that's completely fine. So what you have to do is you have to come up with a system, and for us we came up with a system. That system is basically a supreme thought, which means there's nothing more will ever come into our life. Our supreme thought is our religion. If Islam give us understanding of this is right or this is wrong, no question asked, we will do that. There's a lot of things that in the Pakistani culture we are doing it that's wrong Islamically, and there's I'm sure a lot of things that Egyptian people are doing that's Islamically wrong. So because our moral compass is Islam, if we do something and I don't like it, we will go back to the stage where, okay, is it Islamically correct? If the answer is yes, then we will do it. If Islamically not correct, we will not do it. So that's the first compass. The second one is between whose responsibility will it fall under. For example, we are doing something and Islamically correct, but I want to do it this way and she want to do it that way. You can still have an argument. Then the second stage is, okay, we have to see whose responsibility Islamically will it fall under. If it's outside or something about work or something that will fall under me, then I'll decide, okay, should we move that place or not, XYZ. If it's something that fall under her category, then she will decide that. So she will become the leader in that category, and I'll become a leader in my category. So if it happened to be in my sector, I will make the final decision, and it happened to be her sector, she will make the final decision. Now, if she made a wrong decision and I made a wrong decision, then she can come influence a different decision, and which is fine, and we will do it because I made a wrong decision, and likewise with her. The third segment is what you want to do. Maybe there's something Islamically right and we're both okay with it, but she want to do it this way, and I'm like, okay, I'll be okay with her doing it that way, right? That's the third one. And then the fourth one is what other people think. Maybe all it check first, check two, check three. The fourth check is looking at, okay, would my parents be okay, would my family be okay, or would her family be okay? And this is the last check, which is not really important in my opinion.
Yeah, we didn't actually think about it like,
but just in case, if you want one more added funnel, this could be a funnel where other people will think, especially your immediate family. I'm not talking about everyone else, but your immediate family, because at the end of the day, they do care about you in a sense that they don't want you to harm yourself. What do you think?
all of that looks organized and looks fine, but it need so much trust. It need you like to have a trust for your partner to actually follow this very smoothly. Because if you don't have a trust, you will question everything he's doing and every decision he's doing. And if you don't have a trust in me, he's gonna do the same thing.
The last topic I'll end the video here is everything that you know about this culture or this person's culture. Gather all of that, their age, whatever, study, how they do, how do they eat, whatever. Put it in the bucket, okay, and literally burn that bucket. Now you're standing at a stage 0, which means you don't know nothing, and then build whatever you know or whatever you want to know from that conversation of that man. For example, in my life, I probably know 10, 15, 20 people that are Egyptian, and for me to build an opinion based on those 20 people, it's not fair to her or any other person. You should build your own opinion, and you should do your own research based on that 20 people. It's not going to be like all Egyptian people are bad, right? Or all Pakistani people are bad. This method has helped me a lot, and I think it will help you too.
I honestly, guys, that's very important, because for me personally, before I met him, I don't know like much about Pakistan, but I do have an image about like Pakistani guys, and it was like such a negative opinion. But just because I get to know him and his family and his culture, all of this now is in garbage, is nothing, just because I have made my judgment based on 3-4 experience. So that's not fair, and I cannot like judge a whole country based on 3-4 experience. It could be bad, so it's nothing.
Yeah, I guess that's about it for us today. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself. Bye.